Tri-State Sports Leader, this is WGEM Sports.
It was another cold day for our spring sports teams, but baseball went on as planned. Let's get right into the action. Monroe City on the road, going across the river, looking to steal a win from the Unity Mustangs. Panthers' Blaze Cauble gets us going. He wheels, deals, blows this one by the batter for the early punch-out. Mustangs would wake up, though. Sawyer Allen rips this one in the infield. The second baseman can't get a handle on it, allows the first run of the game to come on in home. He wouldn't be on the bases long either. A pass ball allows Allen to slide his way into home plate, putting up Unity 2-0. Fast forward just a tad, Panthers down 3 now. Caldwell got it done in the box too, getting on base with a hard hit single. The rally would continue in the second inning. This one's ripped out into the outfield. However, the Panthers were unable to bring anyone in to put more runs on the scoreboard that inning. This game had a lot of offense, and the Mustangs would continue to showcase their consistency as they get by Monroe City 15-3 in 4 innings. Big scoreboard coming at you tonight. More baseball action. Brown County with the win over Macomb 5-3. Liberty shuts out Payson 6-zip. Rushville gets the big win over West Hancock 17-7. Beardstown takes down Camp Point 6-3. Over in Missouri, Scotland County 15-0 over Highland in 3 innings. Brookfield takes down South Shelby 8-5. On the softball dirt, Pittsfield gets by Quincy High 14-4. Liberty and Payson in a close one. The Eagles come away 5-4 in that matchup. Illini West takes down Brown County 19-9. And then over on the soccer pitch in Missouri, Canton falls to Kirksville 5-0. Signings continue to take place all across the Tri-States. Just last week, one of South Shelby's star softball players made her college commitment official. Last Thursday, Jada Lanfear signed to continue her academic and athletic career at Central Methodist University. The third baseman has made a name for herself on the defensive side of things, always posting above 500, and she made all-district as a senior this past fall. Lanfear is excited about the next opportunity and is ready to make an impact right away, both on the field and in the classroom.
I really want to go into the nursing field, and their nursing facility and all their teachers and stuff work really hard with the softball team to make sure that they can still go to clinicals and practices and all the games and make sure that they're just ready to get their degree and able to move on in life and get their job, and it's not all about just sports, and they just want you to move on and have a good life.
While Jada is excited for the next chapter, she knows she wouldn't be where she is today without everything she has learned at South Shelby.
It was definitely a good 4 years. My team, they really helped me with getting more talkative and communicating more and just helping a lot of underclassmen. That was a lot. It helped me just become a better teammate and hone in on my skills a lot more.
We have more sports coverage on the way. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.